In this lesson, you will identify arithmetic and geometric sequences, and you will also find the nth term. An arithmetic sequence, remember, is a numerical pattern that increases or decreases at a constant rate, called the common difference. Let's take a look at these three sequences. Is the first one an arithmetic sequence? It goes from 5 to 11, which is adding 6, and then 11 to 17, which is adding 6, and 17 to 23, which is adding 6. So that one is yes. From 5 to 10, that is adding 5. And then from 10 to 20, it is adding 10. So this one is not an arithmetic sequence. From -2 to -4, it's going down by 2. Another way to think of that is adding a -2. And from -4 to -6, you're adding -2. And from -6 to -8, you're adding -2. So this one is an arithmetic sequence. The formula that will be found on the 8th grade MCA test for arithmetic sequences is f of x equals mx plus b. This can be used to help you find any term number that you're looking for. The slope, or the number in front of x, is the common difference. It's what it's changing by. And then b is the zero term. And then x is where you plug in whichever term number it is that you're looking for. So in our first example, it says write the function for each arithmetic sequence and then find the 100th term. So we have an arithmetic sequence, 3, 7, 11, 15. To go from 3 to 7, we are adding 4. And from 7 to 11, we're adding 4. And from 11 to 15, we're adding 4. So if I want to write my rule, f of x equals the common difference, or what it's increasing or decreasing by. This is increasing by 4, so it's going to be a positive 4x. And then plus b, we have to figure out what the zero term is. To help us do that, let's go ahead and fill in this table. Our first term was 3, second term 7, 11, then 15. To figure out the zero term, it's going backwards. Instead of adding 4, we're going to go backwards, so we're going to subtract 4. 3 take away 4 is -1. So our b is -1. Now to find the 100th term, f of 100 equals 4 times 100 minus 1. 4 times 100 is 400 minus 1 is 399. You may want to pause the video and try the next one on your own. Let's go ahead and start by filling out the table. First term is 5, 3, 1, and -1. To go from 5 to 3, a -2 was added, or we subtracted 2. So if I want to go back to the zero term, instead of subtracting 2, I'm going to add 2. So the zero term is going to be 7. So that means my function is going to be f of x equals my common difference, or what it's changing by. It's changing by -2, or going down 2, times the term number plus the zero term, which is 7. So f of x equals -2x plus 7. Now to find the 100th term, f of 100 equals -2 times 100 plus 7. Well, negative 2 times 100 is negative 200, plus 7 is a negative 193. A geometric sequence is a sequence where each term is multiplied by a common ratio to find the next term. The common ratio can be found by dividing any term by its previous term. So a geometric sequence is where you take and multiply a term by the same thing to get the next term. So in this example, this is 4 times 3 to get 12, 12 times 3 to get 36, and 36 times 3 to get 108. So that one is a geometric sequence. Here, to go from 6 to 12, you would have to multiply by 2, but then that means this term would have to be 24 and it's 18, so this one is not a geometric sequence. It's actually an arithmetic sequence because you add 6 each time. Now from 40, 20, 10, 5, this one might be a little bit trickier to see, but this actually is a geometric sequence as well. You would multiply each one of these terms by a half. 40 times a half is 20, times a half is 10, times a half is 5. If you couldn't recognize that that was 1/2, you could have taken a term such as 20 and divided it by the one in front of it. 20 divided by 40 is 1/2, or 10 divided by 20, or 5 divided by 10, and you get 1/2 every time. So that one is a geometric sequence. The rule or formula for a geometric sequence looks like this. F of x equals a times b to the x power, where a is the 0 term, b is the common ratio, or what you multiply by, and then x is the term number. So in this example, I'm going to start by filling out the table. The first term is 3, the second term is negative 6, and then 12, and then negative 24. What do you multiply by to go from 3 to negative 6? Well, you multiply by negative 2. Let's check and make sure that's true as we go through here. Negative 6 times negative 2 is positive 12, and 12 times negative 2 is negative 24. Another way to figure that out is to take a term and divide it by the one in front of it. So negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. Now if we went backwards to the 0 term, instead of multiplying by negative 2, we'd want to go backwards, we'd want to divide by negative 2. 3 divided by negative 2 is a negative 1.5. So my function is going to be f of x equals the 0 term, or a negative 1.5, times the common ratio is negative 2. That's what we're multiplying by every time. And then to the x power. Now when you type this in your calculator, don't forget to put this negative 2 in parentheses. Now to find the 10th term, f of 10 equals negative 1.5 times negative 2 to the 10th power, and that's negative 1,536. You may want to pause the video and try this last one on your own. The first term is 36. Second term is 18. Third term is 9. And the fourth one is 4.5. To go from 36 to 18, the common ratio is 18/36, or 1/2. So we're multiplying by 1/2. So instead of multiplying by 1/2, we're going to divide by 1/2 to find the 0 term. And remember, dividing by 1/2 is the same thing as multiplying by 2. So 36 multiplied by 2 is 72. So for our rule, we have our function is f of x equals our 0 term, which is 72, times our common ratio, which is 1/2, or 0.5, to the x power. Now to find the 10th term, it's going to equal 72 times 1/2 to the 10th power. So the 10th term is 0.0703125.